Good evening, everybody. I hope you are all well. It's Sunday, the 19th of October, slightly after 7 p.m. because my laptop decided to crash, as technology does, and yeah, here we are. But as always, if you can start by like and sharing, and if you're watching on Twitter, if you could retweet as well, that'd be grand. And get as many viewers in as possible. Tonight, we're going to discuss a few local topics that have happened this week. All things reform, of course, this week. This will definitely be a reform dedicated show, along with a bit of local government reorganisation information, an interview that I had earlier this week on Talk TV. And we will be covering or bringing on Joe onto the show, Joe Standen, who is the candidate for Reform UK in the Paulsgrove by-election coming up on Thursday. So there's a lot to talk about. But yes, if you can definitely get involved and share the stream. As I say, the more the merrier, always more the merrier. And as I say, we'll be taking your questions live, which is pretty cool. And we'll have all the chat thing on the icon. But I hope everybody's well tonight. I know we have some regular watchers that watch every single week, no matter what. Sorry, the reason I'm looking down is because I'm currently just making sure everybody gets the link to the video. But yeah, obviously we have a lot of viewers every single week that watch week in and week out. And at the start of every single week, what we do is we start with talking about this week's topics that have come up. So what we'll do is we'll start on an interview that I had on Talk TV just a couple of days ago now, and then I'll get your thoughts on it. And it's in relation to the Aston Villa scenario where they have banned any Jewish people from Israel coming over to the game. Have a watch of this. The police are essentially saying you can't come to Birmingham because you are Jewish. I mean, it's completely anti-Semitic. It's a complete attack on Jewish people, not just in this country, but across the world. You know, and regardless of how you feel about how another government has acted in a country like Israel far away, that's not reflective of the entire population of Israel, you know, and to punish everybody in Israel to say that you can't come over simply because you're Jewish and we might cause problems.
See, George.
Do you know what? I just keep mute on just to keep you guys testing, just to keep you guys on par. But yeah, I always forget to unmute it, don't I? Always forget to unmute it. But yeah, as I said, the incident with Aston Villa is ridiculous. The fact that people have been banned from a football game, and I don't care where they're from, anybody that gets banned from a football game because the police can't keep people safe is an absolute outrage. It's an absolute outrage. And it really shines our British police in a bad light because we're basically saying you can't come to this because we cannot physically keep you safe. It's it truly is, it is awful. I'm still getting people say no sound. Can you confirm that you can hear me now? Because that would be really nice if you can. So if you can let me know if you can hear me now, I'd appreciate it if you just comment. But yeah, as I say, we're going to bring Joe on in about 10 minutes time. He's the by-election candidate for Paulsgrove this year. And I'd appreciate if everybody watching this stream could please share it onto their social media channels. If you can share it, that would be wonderful. And get involved. And next week on next Sunday's show, we're also going to be releasing the winner of this beautiful Reform product. Let me actually go and get it. We've got a signed Nigel Farage Reform FC top, which is really cool. It's been personally signed by Nigel, brand new. And yeah, let me just show it to you here. Brand new signed shirt by Nigel Farage, which is really cool. And we're doing that as a raffle. You can buy tickets on raffle.com. I'll try and put the link in the on the page during the thing, and I'll pin it as well. And it only costs 50 pence to take part, just 50p, and you could win a signed Nigel Farage top. So I'd really appreciate it. That would be great. Hopefully there's lots of you watching from Paulsgrove, and if you are watching from, it doesn't matter where you are watching across the country, we'll take your questions. So, because I know that we do have people from Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool tune in. I know we had someone from New Zealand a couple of weeks ago tune in as well. So no matter where you are in the country, it's cool. You can get involved. You can ask questions. It doesn't have to be just local. But as I say, very shortly, we will be talking to the local candidate, Joe Standen, for Paulsgrove. So get your questions in for sure. But it'd be nice to know where you're all from. So please do comment. Please do comment in the comments where you're from. It'd be nice to know where we're getting viewers from, whether you're in Paulsgrove or whether you're somewhere else in Portsmouth or whether you're somewhere in the world. It'd be nice to actually know where our watchers are from. And he's just said with the post today about pets at home, how will you help change it happening? Look, I mean, we know, Andy, this is down to the Police and Crime Commissioner. And this is down to what will be the Mayor of Hampshire and Solent when they take over the police. You know, what can you do about it? You know, that's the question, is what can you do about it? It's crime is rife, shoplifting is rife. And if the police aren't investigating it properly, then what can we do? You know, what can we do? So, as I say, be lovely to know where you're from. Please share it. As I say, the beauty is that you can share the post and it costs you nothing, but yet it helps us spread the word and get the message out. And that's really valuable to do if you can. This week also, earlier in the week, we had a big announcement. We 4 new independent councillors join us from Portsmouth Independent Party. Exciting. So we welcome Christopher Dyke, we welcome Matthew Cordy, Derek North, and we welcomed Russell Simpson to Reform UK in Portsmouth, which is really good. They have been, I mean, they've been by my side in PIP for many years now, many years in Portsmouth Independent Party, and it's really good to have them part of Reform UK now. Yeah, as I say, they're great guys, and they put their communities first and residents first, and it's great to have them over in Reform now as we build and grow, ready for next year's local elections in May, which we're hoping to win. So it's great to have them over. You know, it's been a long time to try and get them over, months, as you're probably aware, but we got there, which is great, and they are here now, and all good. Someone's asked about the local elections being cancelled, and me and Joe can discuss this in a little bit. So we'll wait till the questions come in, and we can answer questions about that as well. That's absolutely fine. But I will bring Joe in for the questions very shortly. So I'm not going to answer any more questions till then. Terry Norton's tuning in from Havant. Terry Norton is the new chairman of Havant, which is great. Chairman of Reform Havant and Hayden Island, which is amazing. So if you live in Havant or that way, Terry will be in touch if he hasn't already in due course. It's really exciting that the branch is being taken over by him and will now be really getting set up. We also had a great action day yesterday in Paulsgrove. We had over 60 volunteers come down. 7 branches across Hampshire were represented, and we even had someone come down from London to join us. We had the county director, Alex Cully, as well, come down. He runs Reform or oversees Reform across the whole of Hampshire. He popped down as well and started flyering doors for us as well, which is amazing. But I think, you know, people say, oh, you're not in politics, you don't realise that is probably one of the biggest outs I've ever known on a political of any party. Had more than that. And we got fires delivered, lots of dawns, and yeah, it was really good. It was really good. So yeah, I mean, that's what happened this week. It's been busy, and next week we will have Reform UK's Action Day, and I just don't know what Action Day is. The chairman of the party, David Ball, has announced that we are doing a Reform Action Day where he wants every single branch of setups across the country and sign up brand new members, which is what we will be, which is what we'll be doing. So that'll be cool. That'll be great. So we'll be detailed that soon and getting involved. I hope the quality is okay. I don't know if my is cutting out. Yeah, it does. The internet is rubbish here today, and I just last time it was Joe's internet that was bad, and now it looks like it's my internet that's bad, which is actually a first. My internet's on, so that is a first. Hear me? Not good. So what we'll do is we'll now. So just in case he needs to run this stream because my quality is fucking brilliant. Going, Joe, are you here?
Hello, I'm here.
Say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Wonderful. If my signal, if my video goes at any point, you're taking over, all right? Because
No worries at all.
apparently I keep breaking up, which is.
I'm glad it's not my internet this time.
I know. I think you've jinxed me. I think you've jinxed me because my internet is solid as shit usually. So I'm not really sure what's happening. Now, how was your? So you did this great South run today, didn't you? How are you feeling?
There it is. There's my medal. 10 miles in the bag. Anyway, we'll take that off. No, it was good. It was really good. I enjoyed it. It was actually more fun than what I thought it was going to be. And to believe it or not, yeah, I really did enjoy it. And I didn't actually find it as hard as what I thought. Now, bearing in mind, that's the most physical activity I've done since I left the Marines in 2012. So for 13 years not running that distance in boots and full kit, I think I did all right. I did 2 hours and 12 was my time, so I'm happy with that. I was hoping for about 2 hours, but with the conditions, and I decided to run with a flag on my back, which ended up just being like a sail as I was coming back down the seafront. So it's just a nightmare.
I know, and I saw that you had a little pit stop for a drink.
I did. Thank you, Carl from Chambers, and thank you to Chambers Restaurant. Yeah, amazing.
If no one's seen that video, I definitely recommend you go onto Joe for Paulsgrove Facebook page and have a watch. I didn't expect it, to be fair, and I was watching it. I thought it was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. We were out flying in the pissing rain, and yeah, we were stitched up. It was so funny. It was so funny. But are your legs aching now?
My feet are hurting. My feet are hurting. But I'm sure I will be tomorrow. I'll be aching everywhere tomorrow.
So how many that are watching this live stream are in Paulsgrove? That's what I want to know. Like, who's from Paulsgrove? How are you voting? Hopefully for Joe, hopefully for Joe. But it'd be nice to know where you are. And then obviously, we're just going to have an open forum today where you can ask any question. It can be Paulsgrove relevant. It can be Reform relevant. It could be to me. It can be to Joe. It can be about whatever you want. Doesn't matter where in the country you are. Just get your questions in. And as I say, if you are Paulsgrove, let us know you're from Paulsgrove and we'll prioritise your question. Absolutely. But before we do that, and we'll start looking at the comments as they come through. I just want to show you a video of a couple of weeks ago when I was last in the chamber at council. And for those of you who don't know, when there's an election on, they suspend all council business, so we don't go to the chamber for a good couple of weeks. And the last time I was in the chamber, we were talking about local government reorganisation. Where, one second, Emily, quickly. Local government reorganisation. Sorry, everybody. There's an incident going on to the left-hand side of me currently, which as you can probably hear in the background, Emily is resolving very quickly. Unfortunately, our puppy can't be trusted with anything, so it's probably best if Emily takes him to a different room because I keep having to call her in here. But with local government reorganisation happening, we are potentially going to be a £30 million loss or a £60 million loss or a £30 million gain. I can't remember what it was now, but the video will explain it. And I asked the financial director this question to find out why there's a report that states we're going to lose up to 30 million or be in profit by 60 million. Because when we're discussing local taxpayers' money, we really need to know where our money's going. It's highly irresponsible to be betting on ifs or buts. But this is the answer that I got from the financial director of the council. This is the top dog, and he doesn't even know the answer to this question. Have a watch. So what reassurance as councillors can we have that our report's right and their report's wrong? My question is for those of you that have bothered or bored enough to read the Hampshire report as well that come out knows that there is a significant amount of differences between the report that we've received and the Hampshire report, especially on finances. The Hampshire report really does downplay the legacy deficits, whereas obviously we're saying there's 90 odd million. Nick Adams-King actually even said that any of the proposals that our council agree on will not pay back. I quote him on that one. So what reassurances councillors can we have that our report's right and their report's wrong? And how are there two companies doing two reports with the same finances, with the same regions and the same areas, having such massive differences between the reports? So that's the question I've got.
Thank you for the question, Councillor Madrick. The difference between the like-for-like comparison is it's a difference between the two models that suggest 5 unitaries in total, so 4 on the mainland and the Isle of Wight separate. And the difference between the two models is £95.2 million. So it's a £64 million saving for the model that's been prepared by the 12 councils in conjunction with KPMG, and it's a £32 million additional cost for the work that's been prepared by Hampshire County Council and East Hants District Council. Both have used the same underlying data. The differences are in terms of methodology and assumptions. So KPMG will rely on their previous work on local government reorganisation and the work that they've done submitted to government and government have accepted. And the work that's has been done by Hampshire County Council has been done partly in-house and partly with the support of PricewaterhouseCoopers. And they've also drawn on the experience of the County Council's network. All I can say to you is that there is a difference in the methodology and there's a difference in the assumptions that have been made, but both have got credible backgrounds between them.
Follow or subscribe for more.
He's gone again, isn't he? I suppose this is the bit where I have to take over then. Are you with us, George?
So there we go.
No, doesn't look like he's with us. But hello to everyone that is live. And it's great to see everyone popping up saying that they've already voted for me. Thank you very much. I do believe there was someone, who was it? Let me have a look back through. Ben Hubbard. I'll give you a shout out to Lee Park, mate. No worries at all. Not sure where George has gone. He has completely frozen. However, we'll carry on by ourselves. But yeah, again, thank you everyone for that is from Paulsgrove that's already voted for me by post. And also Thursday, polls open first thing in the morning. They are open until 10 o'clock in the evening. So it'd be wonderful if you get out and vote. George is back with us. Here we go. Are you back, George?
I am, yeah.
No.
But the technology's shocking. But it's good to know that if I disconnect, at least you're still live, which is good to know. So that's good. That's good because I don't know what's going on. This is crazy. We're not in the same house tonight. No, maybe we should have been. Maybe we should have been in the same house. Maybe I should have gone to Joe's. It might have been better signal.
Yes.
I've never known anything
here
like this.
And then we could have had
Crazy,
a kebab together afterwards.
We could have had a kebab. I know. I was literally thinking about what to order tonight, and Emily says she's already eaten, so I'm not sure what I'm going to have now. But it's good to see a lot of comments coming in saying they've already voted for you, Joe, by post, which is really, really good. So that's good to see. A lot of people really, really supportive of you as well, which is good. And I think the most important thing is people get out and vote this Thursday. You know, people in Paulsgrove don't stereotypically vote. And, you know, we definitely need people out to vote because the turnout's so low.
Absolutely.
You know,
and Phil just posted there, sorry. Phil just posted, are postal votes done now? No, they're not done. Now, obviously, Royal Mail is not as quick as it used to be. So if you are postal voting, I would say do not put it in the post box any later than lunchtime tomorrow. Otherwise, what you may have to do is actually take it to the polling station with your ID and then they'll let you put it in the ballot box.
Yeah, which is what you got to do. Yeah, do not post it if it's after tomorrow lunchtime. I wouldn't risk it.
Yeah.
And it won't be counted. Someone said all
No,
about
if they're
Paulsgrove. Any chance we mentioned Lee Park? I can give you a shout out to Lee Park. Absolutely, shout out to Lee Park for Ben Hubbard.
already
But
done.
we are doing a Paulsgrove show.
While you were away for a couple of minutes, we already did it, mate.
Oh, did you? Well,
Yeah,
there you go.
we did.
Double shout out. Double shout out. Why is the council wasting money on all this so-called artwork? I think that's a good question, and hopefully I can answer that one. The artwork comes from a separate government grant, so it doesn't actually cost council taxpayers money. I mean, everything costs taxpayers money because we, regardless or not, when we buy food or buy fuel or whatever, we're paying tax. So I guess it does come out of taxpayers' money, but it doesn't come out of local taxpayers' money. It's a grant that is given to the council separately to make the streets full of culture and art, etc., etc. And the Lib Dems decided that it'd be good to put graffiti everywhere. Nice graffiti. I mean, some of it's some of it's good. Some of it's all right. I mean, some of it's absolutely shocking. But you know, it's not using council taxpayers' money, so you can be assured that no council tax is being used on it. And if we didn't use that grant money, we couldn't spend it on other things. It's specifically for that purpose. So you know, I mean, there's been hundreds of thousands of pounds spent on it. Don't get me wrong, hundreds of thousands of pounds, but it's not like that money could have been used for something else. So yeah, who is the recall? Go on.
Sorry. Jason Stafford there has put first time voter. Joe's got my vote. Now, I don't know how many doors we've knocked, George, where we've heard the same thing. It's actually quite unbelievable, isn't it? The amount of times we've gone round door knocking and they've said, do you know what? I've never voted before, but I'm definitely voting this time and I'm voting for you, which I think has not wound you up, but they've always been supporters of you, but then they've told you they've never voted before. So
I know, literally. I mean, everyone's gonna, oh, hello, George. You know, thanks for coming round. You know, like they know who I am, and it's like, do you know what? We're going to vote for the first time this year. I think, where the bloody hell have you been for the last 4 years? You know, so it always makes me laugh, and you know.
Oh, he's gone again. Brilliant. Okay. I'll carry on for a bit then. So, Jane, you're not on the electoral roll. That is a shame. That is a shame. I will apologise quickly as well. So I'm not actually getting the questions through from Twitter or X. So if you're putting a question through on X at the moment and I don't reply to you, I do apologise. Okay. Jane, that's a real shame you're not on the electoral roll. It would have been wonderful if you had voted. But yeah, maybe next time. Maybe next time I'll get your vote. So Rachel O'Neill, you've put, is there a reform councillor in Charles Dickens ward? So no, there is not a reform councillor in Charles Dickens ward yet. So at the moment there is 2 Labour councillors and 1 independent councillor who used to be a Labour councillor, but he was kicked out of the Labour Party. So yes, there is technically 3 Labour councillors down here in Charles Dickens. However, hopefully in May, we have Lamara, who is standing for us in May. And anyone in Charles Dickens, I implore you to vote for Lamara. She is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Looks like George has gone. So it's now the Joe Standen show, which is wonderful. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Ban fox and badger culling. I agree. I agree to an extent. I do. I agree to an extent. At the end of the day, if there's too many of them, what are we going to do? You can't just have thousands of them roaming around. They do cause a lot of problems to people's cattle in farms. I know badgers do. I believe bovine tuberculosis comes from them, but don't quote me on that. So there are some instances, but of course, I would never want to see any harm come to any animal in any way whatsoever. Paul Alden, there will be a reform candidate in Hilsey and North End. So, well, in actual fact, Councillor Russell Simpson has defected over from Portsmouth Independent Party. He is your current councillor in Hilsey, and he will be standing for reform in next May's election. And so someone's taken your reform boards from the garden. How do you get them back? Oh, no, how do you get some stickers for your windows? So, Lorna, if you want to message me privately, message me on my Joe Standen for Paulsgrove page, and I will drop some posters round for you, okay? It's a shame. And George is back. Here we go.
I've had to hotspot to my phone now, so fingers crossed. Jesus wept.
So just to keep you updated of what we were doing, George, we've just...
One second, Joe. I just want to give a shout out to nobody in Portsmouth getting tube internet, right? Don't get tube internet. They put those flyers through the frickin' door telling you they got 400 megabytes internet and it's the best in Portsmouth. They are WANK. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Don't believe their lies. It's a page of lies. Anyway, carry on, Joe.
No, I was just updating people on who's going to be standing where next year. I mean, I know that we've still got to officially select candidates and things like that. Someone asked about Charles Dickens' ward. Is there a reform councillor there? I explained that there isn't, but hopefully we'll have Lamara standing down there, who is absolutely fantastic. Someone asked about Hilsey and North End. So Hilsey, obviously, we've got Russell Simpson that's come over from the Independents, who is now a reform councillor in Hilsey. And they in North End, obviously the official selections haven't happened yet, but hopefully we'll have young George that will stand down there. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I think it's important to say that we will be standing 14 candidates in 14 wards. So, you know, no matter where you were watching in Portsmouth, there will be a candidate. And I believe the same is going on for Fareham, Gosport and Havant. I think there'll be a candidate in every single seat across the Solent, the South Coast. And there is actually a chance that all four of us could take over our respective councils next year alone. It is possible. So, but it's only possible if people go out and vote. Simple as that. Simple as that. If you don't vote, we got no chance, you know. And when people say, oh, well, my vote doesn't matter, don't forget that in the Runcorn by-election, we won it by 6 votes. 6 votes won it. Out of 20, I think it's 28,000 votes were cast. We won by 6, you know. So yeah. It really proves that every vote counts. And, you know, please drag people along. You know, if you've got others in your households, you've got kids or, you know, kids that are 18 plus, but kids, or you've got neighbours or family that live in the area, go grab them and drag them to that poll station. You know, next Thursday, or this Thursday, should I say now, really, in 4 days, there is prediction of rain, you know, so there's going to be rain, but don't let that stop you. Don't let that stop you. It's important to go out and vote. Someone said about South.
Sorry, I'll just reply to one. Someone called Cal asked about fox hunting and badger culling. I didn't realize if it's been proven that badgers don't spread bovine tuberculosis, then fine. I am not a scientist or a vet, but as I said, I completely do not think that animal cruelty is nice in any way. So yeah, there we go. I just had to clear that one up while you're off.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of animal cruelty, and I think
absolutely not.
People that hunt foxes should probably shot themselves, to be fair. But you know, that's my opinion. I have absolutely no time for animal cruelty. I actually get myself into some pickles. That's the only time I'm as you know, Joe, I'm a real quite calm person. I'm really like placid and stuff, and I always debate and don't really turn to violence. But a few times now I've been close when I've seen people either kick a dog or something like that. It makes it sends me from 1 to 100 within a second, within an absolute second. It's yeah, I just can't stand it. I can't stand it. We need a good phone provider for signal in Paulsgrove. You're right, Stephen. You're right, because I was up there today and could barely get a signal. So you are right.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. When we've been campaigning around, some areas are just tragic.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. They're really, really bad. They're really bad. Someone says Southsea down the south. Yes, we will have candidates everywhere. Everywhere. We've actually got too many candidates forward for the 14 seats. We could probably fill about 30 seats if we had to. We've got a lot of candidates putting their name forward, but we want to make sure we get the right candidates. What's really important is that we don't just put a candidate in a seat just to put a candidate in a seat. We need to make sure that we've got the right people that are willing to campaign, that are willing to work hard, that when they get elected can do the job. And that's what a responsible local party do, you know, and we won't put paper candidates in, or people that just kind of won't bother doing the work if they get elected. So yeah, be rest assured if there's a candidate on your paper, which there will be, they will have gone through a process and we'll know that they'll be good for the job. Andy's offered to take people for a lift if they need a lift to a poll station. So if you guys, anybody needs a lift to the poll station Thursday, let me know.
He's a top man, Andy Dean, top man.
So I prefer animals to a lot of people. I agree with that. I could prefer animals to almost, well, to all people actually. No offense, Joe, but it's
No,
Joe has never made me as happy as my doggies have. So you know, but I haven't tried scratching his belly. So maybe Thursday. Yeah, I might turn that around. Yeah. I'll get some treats ready for you for being a good boy if you do well. All right.
I've got a lot more belly to rub than your dogs both put together, mate.
Yeah, probably. Haven't we all, haven't we all? But yeah, please, as I say, chuck your questions in. Someone asked about the potential cancellation of elections next year, and I'm hoping that really it's a rumour that's going to be stumped out pretty quickly. We know that seven of the Conservative-run county councils are considering putting a request into the Labour government to delay the elections next year. And they're using local government reorganisation as the excuse for that, which is pathetic, absolutely pathetic, because that's what the excuse they used last year. I think it would be a travesty. And I think, you know, one of them's putting, I think one of the county council leaders, Conservative county council leaders, said that it's literally to stop Reform taking over councils because they feel that Reform wouldn't be able to manage the councils effectively during local government reorganisation. But with all due respect, it doesn't matter what they think. It's democracy. And if people want a new lead in council, they should be able to vote for it. But at the end of the day, what they don't realise is if they cancel election again, not only will I think there'll be mass protests because I think people were annoyed or angry enough last year, but I think if they do it again, I think not only will there be mass protests, and rightly so, and I'll absolutely join them, but I also think that they'll basically turn everyone Reform. I think everyone will go, are you crazy? And I think it will destroy Labour and Tories forever. I mean, more so than they are now, because I think people will be like, right, okay, I'll show you a message. You know, and I think people in their hundreds of thousands across the countries that don't usually vote will go out and vote and vote Reform just to send a message when the elections do finally set up. But we've got into this almost authoritarian state where they cancelled elections for COVID and then they cancelled elections for last year. They can't cancel elections again. Otherwise, it's setting this precedent that if you're the governing party and you don't like the way the polls are looking, you can just cancel an election. In my opinion, it should be criminal. It really should. You know, and I always have the respect for councillors that stand down when they're meant to be up for election. A few of them did that last year, and I thought, fair play to you. You know, fair play to you.
It is the most undemocratic thing you can ever possibly do, isn't it? Really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
And when you think there's war-torn countries that still have elections, and we can't have one because we can't sort out our local government and how they want to arrange it, it's just pathetic.
Yeah. Absolutely. And someone's just said about what candidates are standing and stuff and asking about current councillors. Just so everyone's clear, not every councillor is up for election next May. In Portsmouth, we do it in thirds. So that means we have 42 councillors and we elect 14 of those every year, basically. So next year, the only Reform councillor that will be up for election at this moment in time is Russell Simpson. And obviously, if Joe wins on Thursday, then Joe will be up for re-election. So he'll be elected for a whole 9 months before he has to start the slog of campaigning again and winning again. But you know, so don't judge him too much in his first 9 months because it takes you about 6 months to learn the job. So it's but you know, hopefully he'll have good people by his side to help him out. You know, but yeah, we'll only have 2 councillors that we're hopefully protecting next year, and say there'll be 12 councillors that are either Liberal, Tories, or Labour that are up for election. So yeah, someone said, George, did I see Derek North is now Reform? And is he Old Wimmering and Cosham? Yes, he is now Reform and he is Old Wimmering and Cosham, yeah. And he is elected until 2028, I think it is. So he's not up for election for a long time. So Paul Craven, if you keep posting crap on my post, I'm going to have to block you, bro. I don't want to, but we've had this conversation so many times. You keep spreading lies continuously across Facebook pages. We've actually had this conversation debate multiple times, Paul. And on the last time we had it, you admitted that you were wrong. You admitted that you were spreading for misinformation. You actually apologized. So I was hoping we got over it, but you need to stop telling people, and everybody on the left needs to stop telling people that Reform are going to close down the NHS, because it's just not true. It's not factual. It's got no basis of truth. It's never been said by any of the party leadership, including Nigel Farage. It's not in our contract. It's not in our manifesto. It's simply not happening. And telling anybody that it's going to happen is a complete and utter lie. And you're just as bad as the people you claim to try and protect against. So I'm going to give you last chance, Paul, to stop spreading misinformation and going onto all the posts and doing that. I don't want to block you, but you're posting it on everything, dude, and enough is enough. Ian has said, let's have a challenging one, shall we? Let's have a look at this Ian one. So Ian's a Paulsgrove resident. It says, why did you start off by saying all Labour and Liberals do is run Reform down, but you don't stop running all the other parties down, George? Why, as you have a following? So not nice to hear, mate. I don't know necessarily what I've said to run all the other parties down. But Joe, why don't you tell people your experience of this campaign so far and what people have said about you, and keep it factual?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was actually going to jump in and ask you to jump in on that as well. So Ian, I don't recall either of us putting down the other parties. We said it's undemocratic to cancel elections and things like that, and said it's a travesty if it happens. But my experience through this election it's actually been quite sad to see, actually. We've run a really, really positive campaign, I think, George, and we've not said anything about any of the other parties, and nor do I want to waste my time or energy on any of the other parties. As far as I'm concerned, when you're out campaigning to try and win an election, you should be going out there telling people what you want to do for the area, or how the good things that you can do for the area. Listen to what the people want from you, what they want for the area, and put out a positive message, where if I'm sure anyone that lives in Paulsgrove here that has had all the other literature through the door from the other parties, in actual fact, to say that the literature from the Conservative parties didn't mention me in any way, so I will rule them out of that. But everything that you've got through from the other parties has effectively told you why not to vote for me, why not to vote for Reform, and nothing about why actually to vote for them, which completely blows my mind. Like I said, we've run a really positive campaign about why people should vote for me and why you should vote for Reform. And like I said, they've run their whole campaign has been based on telling people that I'm not actually from Paulsgrove, which to me doesn't make a blind bit of difference. I think the most important thing is that you get the right person from the job. I think unless you're a shopkeeper and you live above your shop, nobody actually lives where they work anyway. I'm sure there's a lot of, and you know what? A lot of councillors on Portsmouth City Council don't live in the wards they represent anyway. Portsmouth is like a giant village anyway. It's a small place. Everyone knows everyone. It doesn't make a blind bit of difference whether you actually live in that small area of the ward that you represent. So yeah, I don't think we've put anyone down. Carry on, George.
No, I was going to say you're right, and I think that if Ian is referring to the past, where I've obviously held parties to account, I think that's completely different. That's scrutiny. And as the administration, which is the Liberals, that are being propped up by Labour, Charlotte Gerardo, who's the Labour leader, has very openly said that she supports Steve being leader of the council, Steve Pitt, who's a Liberal. She's openly said that. So Liberals are being propped up by Labour, and I think that to scrutinise them, i.e. disclosing Labour's WhatsApp group chats where they called veterans Nazis, where Liberals had tried to be involved in the cover-up of a rape of a young girl by a migrant. I think these are all relevant things to talk about. And I think as an elected official, it's my job to tell you, the people, the truth about what's going on. I don't think I've ever necessarily run them down. And in any capacity, what I've done is I've told people the truth about what's going on, about what's going on. I can't see any time I've ever been malicious. And as Joe has said, we've not put one thing in our literature about the other parties. We've not spoke about the other parties. We've not put any of the other candidates down in any capacity. So hopefully that answers your question, Ian. I don't think it's a fair question, but hopefully that answers your question. There was another question that I found. Someone said, "Are you still looking for reform candidates?" That's from Paul. Yes, we are. I say we've got over 30 now that have been approved. We're only looking for 14, but we're looking for the right candidates. So if there's anybody out there watching that thinks that they could stand, and thinks they want to stand and could be good for Portsmouth, then please reach out to us via Messenger, and I'll send you the vetting link, and please get involved. And if you're not selected for next year, don't forget the year after, there'll be a shadow authority election for the local government organisation where we'll need 42 candidates. So there will be plenty of stuff to do in the next coming years. So yeah, absolutely, please get involved. Paul's commented again, after I've asked him not to, about stupid NHS stuff. He put, "I might have voted reform, but not ever review, as he wants to get rid of the NHS. Please check it out." Paul, it's a lie. I'm not going to say it anymore. He doesn't want to get rid of the NHS in any capacity, in any way, shape or form. It won't happen. Okay. And the only thing that he did say, and I'll just for clarity, what he did say, and I think this is personally a great idea, is that he said if anybody's on waiting lists for more than 3 months, then he will provide them with a voucher to use private healthcare for free. Still pay through the NHS for private healthcare, and that will bring the waiting list right down. From people are waiting on waiting lists for years, right? The NHS is currently broken. The system is broken. Our healthcare is broken. You can't even get a GP appointment, right? So whatever Tories did before and whatever Labour are doing now is not worth amended and changed. What Nigel has said is that he encourages people to get private health insurance. I've got private health insurance. You know, they encourage people to get that if possible. And yes, if I pick up my phone now, I can get a doctor's appointment virtually in 30 minutes. And he'll encourage people to do that using tax initiatives, but he's not going to take away the NHS. He's going to try and encourage more people to go private if they can, but that's not a removal of the NHS in any capacity. What it'll actually do is help the NHS because it will remove people. So I haven't visited an NHS doctor now for about 7 years. Haven't seen one, an NHS doctor. I've always used private. So I've taken that strain, that extra appointment that I've had every couple of years or every year or whatever, I've taken that away from the NHS. So I've saved appointments. And that's what he wants to do. He wants to try and save appointments, which means the NHS will have lower waiting list, a quicker response time. And for the people that most desperately need the NHS, it will be there immediately and quick for people. And I think that's really important. So I think it's a great policy, but never at any point is he going to get rid of the NHS. Is getting rid of the TV license still on the manifesto? I don't know, you know. I don't actually know that one. I hate TV license, so I'll get rid of it straight away. I know, it's an absolute stealth tax. It's rubbish. I do not want to fund the BBC.
No, absolutely not.
So
it'll be interesting to see how many people on this feed actually watch the BBC.
I know. I mean, how many of you actually do still watch the BBC? I know some people watch live TV. Someone said Traitors. Yeah, Traitors is a good show. But how many people watch the BBC now? It'd be interesting to know. It would be good to know how many people watch the BBC. Give me a second, Joe. I'm just having to do something that I didn't want to do.
It's all right.
I'm gonna have to block Mr. Paul Craven because he still hasn't stopped. So, Paul, I've given you enough chances, mate.
What did he put this?
You know what? I think he blocked me, you know, first before I could block him. That's a plot twist.
Well, saved your job.
Save me a job.
Yeah.
Save me a job.
Oh, well. Ricky watches EastEnders.
Of course, Ricky watches EastEnders. That's the kind of guy he is.
Is he real still?
Now, Ricky should stand for election, Joe. Give him your pitch. Nicky's a resident in Stamshall, and he'd be bloody perfect. He's an ex-copper. He gave up being a police officer, and I want him to stand for election, but he won't. He won't.
Who's this, Ricky?
Ricky, yeah.
Yeah, it's look, one bit of advice, or something I can say to anyone on this stream that is thinking about standing for council or would like to be a councillor. Anyone, George has said this before, anyone can be a councillor. You don't need to be massively into politics. You don't need to know loads about politics. What you need to be is passionate about the city and have a passion for wanting to do good for people. And that's about it. The hardest part really is actually getting elected. Once you're there, it's just make sure you do a good job and make sure you look after your residents and listen to what the residents say. I mean, I'm saying all this, I've not even got there yet, but from years of knowing other councillors and things like that, it's just, I think as long as you can just listen to everyone and do what's asked of you, you can't go wrong, can you?
No. Someone's just said, what are you now, George? I'm confused. Are you still a councillor? First year of voting and we need change. I'm still a councillor. As we said before, there's 42 councillors, 14 are up every year. So I'm still going to be a councillor till 2028. So my position is safe for the next 3 years, which is lovely. But every single year we elect a new councillor. So next year will be Joe up for Paulsgrove. So yeah, if you're voting for the first time, Chelsea, this is. Once again, why did you not vote for me last year, Chelsea? But
it's the standard effect.
Don't use standard effect. Yeah. At least it ain't the Simpson effect. So this year, Melisha's choked. This year, if you're going to go vote, please do vote. Go to your local polling station, but it doesn't affect me. If you vote for Joe, I'm still the councillor. Me and Joe and Chris will be working together, so it makes no impact at all. I thought they wanted to get digital ID rolling. Don't get me started on digital ID. Steve Pitt needs to resign. Yes, he bloody does. Steve Pitt's the leader of Portsmouth City Council. What's that?
Sorry, just on that digital ID thing as well. Do you know what's really, really, really wound me up about this week? Is the first thing they've rolled out is a veterans ID card, digital ID. And they've openly admitted that they're basically using veterans as guinea pigs to see if it works. And then they'll roll it out to everyone else. That is ludicrous. As a veteran myself, that is ludicrous. You don't need a digital ID. You're not in the military anymore if you're a veteran. You don't need an ID card anymore. I know there is the plastic one, which can open up things like discounts at shops and gets you into theatres cheaper and things like that. But this digital ID is just madness. And I'm disgusted that they're rolling it out on veterans.
I know it's terrible. Going back to Steve Pitt needs to resign because, I don't like calling for anyone's resignation. I'm not a fan of it because in politics, everyone's got different opinions, right? And everyone just usually tries to do the best of their community in their own vision. And it doesn't mean I agree with their vision, but you'll know, Joe, there is some lovely Liberal Democrat councillors out there that you could have a beer with. You don't necessarily agree with their politics, but they're decent people. But, Steve is a difficult one because I was Steve's friend on a personal level. Steve, for those of you watching across the country, Steve Pitt's the Liberal leader of Portsmouth City Council. And it's a tough one for me because I've known Steve for decades, probably. I first met him, but I would say we were friends. I would have called him a friend. And when he took over the council, I thought this is great because the Steve I know was a really logical thinker. He was really intelligent. He really cared about Portsmouth. I was so happy that we had someone that was going to run the council that was so passionate about the city and Portsmouth and work with other people. And since he become the leader, that couldn't have been further from the truth. And it's been disappointing for someone like me who used to call him a friend. Now, I say used to because the guy won't speak to me anymore. And that's not through lack of trying. I've tried to speak with him. He won't communicate with me whatsoever. I even saw him the other day in the council. He was at the elevator and I said, hello, wouldn't even look in my direction, won't acknowledge I even exist. It's pathetic and it's childish in my opinion. But you need a home to judge whether you think he should resign. It's not for me as a politician to tell you this, but looking at his record of action, he was warned a year and a half ago now, that one of his councillors was potentially, or it's been alleged that he had created serious misconduct while being in the police force, including recording of dead bodies, filming suicide footage videos, really some really bad stuff, right? And I must say this is alleged. It's not factual, right? Well, it might be factual, but it's not been proven yet, okay? And Steve Pitt was made aware of this a year and a half ago. After being made aware of these allegations, which are still going on, by the way, they're still pending because there was an issue with the case and it started again. But Steve Pitt, knowing this, made this person Portsmouth's representative on the Hampshire Police and Crime Panel. So Steve was aware of one of his councillors being accused of serious police misconduct and then put this man on a police panel as our representative for Portsmouth. Does that make him a good leader? That's down to you. Steve Pitt in March or February this year stood on the Guildhall steps with a refugee sign saying more refugees are welcome here. He led the charge on signing the Council of Sanctuary Agreement, which didn't need to be signed. He signed that. And now we find out last month that Portsmouth has more migrants that arrived here illegally on boat than any other council authority in Hampshire combined. So if you combine all the people that arrived here illegally on boat from the Isle of Wight, from Fareham, from Gosport, from Havant, from Southampton, from Winchester, from Basingstoke, from Andover, from Petersfield, from East Hampshire, if you combine all of those together, they have less people that arrived here illegally than Portsmouth do. Steve has overseen and governed that, right? There's so many things that he's overseen and governed which I don't necessarily agree with. And the one thing that has changed since he's become leader is he stopped doing regular group leader meetings. So what used to happen under Gerald Vernon Jackson is all of us, so myself, the leader of Labour at the time, which was George Fielding, then it went to Charlotte Gerrarda, the leader of the Tories, used to meet up every single month, and the leader would come to you and say, this is what's coming up in the council, what's your opinions? And you were able to give your opinion. Steve has stopped that almost on day one. He doesn't do them anymore. So he doesn't liaise with the opposition at all for opinions or anything like that. He doesn't do any of that anymore. He doesn't discuss things like that anymore. He runs it almost like a dictatorship, in my opinion. So it's up to you guys, the electorate, to decide whether that's the kind of person you want to lead the council or not. And I'll leave that down to you. Anyway, moving on from that. And if there's anybody on here from Paulsgrove that's got Paulsgrove specific questions, I would love to read them. So if you've got Paulsgrove specific questions, please fire them up. Scott said Liberals are being propped up by their local opposition, ? Yes, they are. So Labour are the leaders of the opposition in Portsmouth currently. Liberals are the main party. Labour, as the opposition, are propping up the administration. Doesn't make any sense, right? Which means the Portsmouth has never really been truly scrutinised. And if you look at the people that are in charge of the scrutiny panels, the main ones, so like the Governance and Audits Committee, the Planning Committee, Scrutiny Management Panel, they're all Labour and Liberal councillors. So they're marking their own homework, essentially. Someone put all about transparency. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. How can the public identify from bona fide legal migrants from illegal migrants? Well, they can't, Neil. And I think this is the issue. And I think people need to be cautious because there is a lot of legal migrants in this country that are really valuable, that are entirely welcomed. You know, that when we were knocking the door the other day, Joe, I think it was me and Ray, we were in Paulsgrove, and we met a Polish lady and her husband. And she was saying how she was getting a bit of animosity, and she's lived here for 15, 20 years, and she's obviously always had a job and paid into the system. But those are the kind of migrants that we want in this country, right? People that give back.
Absolutely.
You know, that's the kind of people we want. But it's very difficult to distinguish between the two because it's not like they're wearing a big armband saying I'm an illegal immigrant, is it? You know, so it's very difficult and hard. So I think it's really important that anybody that's watching this remains conscious of that, and not everybody that walking in the street is illegal. Although we do have almost 700 of them in Portsmouth now, and I think that's another thing as well, Joe. And I don't know if you saw this story, but obviously we discovered, as in Portsmouth, you know, as in, well, I guess it was PIP at the time, but Reform now, we discovered that that migrants were living in HMOs that we were never told about. You know, we were never told about this.
Yeah, and I believe a lot of that came off the back of Amanda Martin, did it not?
Yeah, it did. So Amanda Martin, Amanda Martin, I think, accidentally said it in a meeting. I don't believe she intended to. I think she was given information secretly from the Home Secretary at the time. I think it was Yvette Cooper. And I think that she was given information. She accidentally said it in a public meeting that was being recorded. And because we were told up until that point that there was no migrants living in anywhere but the hotels. And obviously we had a lot of residents say, well, I know there is. And we were saying, no, there isn't. We've been told there isn't. And obviously Amanda then released that 58 houses of multiple occupancy in Portsmouth are being used to house migrants. And we thought we had like 100, and we didn't. We had about 700. And once again, the council weren't aware of that. We didn't know about that. You know, it's truly shocking. It really is truly, truly shocking. And what they're doing, these HMOs, they destroy family homes forever. You know, forever. Yeah, this is the thing that people don't understand. And when people go do HMO applications, the developers always say, yeah, but we can convert it back to a family home if the HMO business dies. It's never going to die, and they're never going to convert it back to an HMO. Do you realise it costs hundreds of thousands of pounds to convert houses into HMOs? Hundreds of thousands of pounds. That house, if converted back to a family home, could never be sold for the amount of money that would be required to make money back on that property. So developers are never going to change them back to family homes. They're never going to do it. And once you've destroyed a family home, you've destroyed it forever. And that's why we've got to do what we can do to fight against the HMOs. Now, it doesn't mean that all HMOs are bad or all people that live in HMOs are bad. It doesn't mean that. But what it does mean is that forever you are taking that family home off that high street, you're removing it forever. And that can never be replaced. It's gone. And that's why I don't like them. I think personally, Joe, you should do planning if you get elected.
I'd give it a go, mate. Absolutely. I'd give anything a go. I mean,
it's
look,
good fun.
With regards to the HMO situation, Portsmouth, and one thing I will say is we said about, or you mentioned migrants there. One thing I will say is it's illegal migrants is the issue here. It's not migrants. We're already the most populated city in the UK outside of London, I believe. Adding another 700 illegal migrants on top of that is just obscene. And I just noticed Terry wrote a thing there about how 60 children that can't speak English or doubt can speak English, read, write, or anything like that are going to be put into schools in Portsmouth, up to 60, I believe he's just written. Now, I'm sure Terry would know. So, yeah, it's mad. We are absolutely packed to the gills in Portsmouth. And that's the reason there's so many HMOs, is because there's nowhere else. We can't build out. We're an island, we can't build out. We can only build up, or we can change the housing stock that we've already got. But you're completely right, George. Once that housing stock's gone, it's gone forever.
Yeah, it's not good. Someone just put, isn't reform wiping uni fees for nurses in the NHS for 10 years? Yeah, so this basically counters Paul's argument from earlier about the NHS being destroyed. Yes, reform have said that they want to try and scrap fees for people in healthcare, for university fees, because they don't feel that people should have to pay to be educated to work on the front line of our health service. And I think that's another sensible policy. We need more doctors in this country, more nurses in this country. And if you're going to do that, why are we charging you to do that? So I absolutely agree with that. That's a great idea. Let's have a little scroll down the list of questions. A lot about BBC. Oh, someone said they wasn't in Portsmouth. Apologies. That's why she didn't vote for me last year, Joe. She didn't live in Portsmouth then. That explains it.
Could have got a postal vote for you, though, couldn't they?
Yeah.
It's all right. No, you make yourself feel better, George. It's fine.
I know. Thanks. That's what I need to do. Feel a little bit better. Let's have a little look. There's a lot about digital IDs. I think digital ID is going to be a real big thing, for this government. A lot of people are feeling really angry about it, and I completely agree. During the COVID, I didn't do one. I didn't download one, and I remember going to the Guildhall for a show. Can't remember what the show was now, but I went to Guildhall for a show during COVID, and they wouldn't let me in because I didn't have the NHS track and trace bloody app where it had all your COVID injections, because I didn't actually have the full jabs. I didn't have them, and that was a personal preference. It wasn't because of any conspiracy or anything like that. I just didn't want the jabs. I thought, I'm young enough, I'm fit enough, I should be all good. So I chose not to have them. Because I didn't have them, I was banned from going into a bloody music venue. And I think that the digital, in my opinion, is a slippery slope. I think that, once you get it, whatever government of the day takes over, or whatever prime minister of the day takes over, they could add things on there. They could link your bank accounts to it. I'm not saying they're going to. I'm saying they could. They could link your bank accounts to it. They could stop you going into restaurants or clubs or music venues or going on a flight without having your digital ID, and they could put your credit score on there, because what they're trying to do is centralize everything, right, to make it simpler. That's what they're saying. It's a bit simpler. But I think it's dangerous. And the thing that I don't like about digital ID as well is a lot of people say, well, you got your ID on your Facebook account or your X account or this or that or your gym membership. That's great. You're right. I do. But I have the freedom to put that on there. It's my choice if I put that on there. And it's my choice if I remove that. Where the digital ID is, you're being forced, I don't like it.
I think the thing that's wound a lot of people up as well, the thing that's annoyed me certainly, is how they're trying to get round it. So they've said they're trying to almost use it as a combatant to the illegal immigrant situation, as like a deterrent to not come here. So they're saying, oh, if you don't have a digital ID, you can't work in this country. Well, we've already got that. We've already got that. It's called a national insurance number. So we don't need that. And it's so our unscrupulous employers that are already employing people without a national insurance number or without a right to work in the UK. Do you think they're going to be bothered about a digital ID? No, of course they're not.
No.
They're just going to continue to hire people illegally anyway. And
Yeah,
I saw
absolutely.
Chelsea say there, do I want her vote? Yes, Chelsea, of course. I want everyone to vote for me on the 23rd. That would be wonderful.
You're not getting mine. Someone has said, Scott said as well, so this leader of the council has stopped you giving you updates on major projects. Look, Scott, I'm not saying he has or he hasn't, but what I'm saying is that I haven't had regular briefing updates now. With Gerald Vernon Jackson as leader, I used to get updates on the port. I used to get updates on the Hampshire Bank, my God, about all different things. And I haven't had those updates. I haven't spoke to the leader. I haven't had a brief from the leader or the chief executive on any major projects for over a year now, which means I can't really scrutinise it, right? It's bad. And I'm really excited because I think if we take over this council, Joe, in May, and this is why I'm hoping everybody, no matter where you live in Portsmouth, Southsea, whatever, you get out and vote, because I reckon if we take over in May, we are going to find a lot of crap hidden in those cupboards. I'm convinced we're going to find a lot of crap hidden in those cupboards. I'm
convinced. I think there'll be a lot of skeletons.
I'm convinced, and I think that's why Liberals are trying.
Photos of them.
Yeah, probably are taking photos of them. Yeah, but I think that there's going to. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot hidden there. My little boy's asleep next to me, bless him. Yeah, so I think someone's just put legal migrants are welcome, the illegal ones are not, and that's correct. I think that I welcome. I know some people also don't like legal migration. I actually do. I think as long as people come into the country, they hit the criteria, they can speak fluent English, they come in, they give to the society, they get a job, they pay taxes, then happy days, in my opinion. But the people of Portsmouth on the majority agree with that, right? We did a survey, Joe, last year, a Council of Sanctuary survey, when obviously everyone signed it against the will. And we had 4,500 roughly respondents from across Portsmouth, all independently verified, by the way. And there was a mix of Lib voters, Labour voters, Green voters, but still, this is the funny thing is, I think only 40% of respondents supported reform, which is certainly obviously a skewed dynamic. So certainly more reform supporters replied to it than other voters, but there was still 60% of people that were not reform voters that replied to it. But yet 91% of people didn't support having illegal migrants in the city and didn't support the Council of Sanctuary agreement. So 91%, including, which you'll find interesting, 67% of people that voted Liberal didn't support signing the Council of Sanctuary. So, they've gone against their own voters, their own supporters. It's not like they could say, well, the people that voted Liberal support it. The people that voted Liberal didn't support the Council of Sanctuary signing. The people that voted Labour didn't support the Council of Sanctuary signing. The only people that supported the Council of Sanctuary signing were Green Party supporters. But not even all of them supported it. I think Green Party, it was 76% of Green Party supporters did support it. But that still meant there's a quarter of Green Party supporters that didn't. So, yeah, it's been interesting. Good
night, Joe.
Someone's just put, Joe, Ricky Scott said, Joe, how's it going since defected, and how are you being received by the Paulsgrove residents? Have you had much pushback?
Okay, no, I haven't actually. It's been absolutely amazing. So I didn't actually effectively defect because I'm not elected anywhere. I've never been elected either as a Conservative or as an independent or anything like that. So I just decided to change who I was a member of, who I was a party member of. I was a member of the Conservative Party. I decided to leave them. I was thinking about standing as an independent. And then Reform's views matched very similar to mine. A lot of the policies that Reform came out with, I could get behind. And I thought, no, this is what I want to get behind. So I joined Reform. And then I was lucky enough when Brian decided that he wanted to walk away and step down through medical reasons. He picked up the phone, gave me a call, said he'd seen the good work that I'd been doing in Baffins, and he thought that I'd be a great fit for Paulsgrove. And I jumped at the chance. I love Paulsgrove. I think it's a great area. I've got lots of family members that live around there. And yeah, I've been welcomed in with open arms. It's been in fact, it's blown me away how brilliant people have been. really has. They're wonderful people, and I'm loving the fact that I'm part of the community now, and hopefully they elect me to represent them in the council chamber.
Yeah, no, it has been good. It's been, and I was saying to Joe just the other day when we were outdoor knocking, I won by 64% of the vote last year, which was a record for the ward. And the response that you're getting now is better than what I got. I got 64%, which is huge, by the way. I mean, it's the best vote that anyone's ever got. And Joe's response for this campaign is still better than that. So I'm really excited to see the results. I'm not saying that you're going to get over 64%. We don't know, do we?
No.
And at the end of the day, if people don't go out and vote, we're not going to get any percent. So, it's very important that people go and vote. But I think that if people go out and vote, if people get their neighbours and their family in their house to go and vote, there's a real chance we could have a real good number here. There really, really is. But and I think what people got to realise is that, you might think we're saying, oh, well, Reform are going to walk it. And if you're going to ask me honestly, Joe's not as candid as this. If you're going to ask me honestly, do I think Reform are going to win Thursday in Paulsgrove? Yes, I do. I think that if I was a betting man, I'd bet my house that I'm currently on Reform winning on Thursday. But that's not the key point. We're not just asking for your votes so that we can definitely win. We're asking your votes to send a big statement. If we win by a landslide, and I mean by a landslide, and if say 5% of people that didn't vote last year end up voting and end up coming out, if we get those really big numbers coming out of people that don't usually vote, and we get a huge percentage, it will send shockwaves, not just across Portsmouth, but across Hampshire and the nation. And that's what we're now fighting for. We're fighting for a big number. And that's why we want you to get out, because winning is great. Winning by a landslide changes everything. And that's what people are going to realise. If we get a big number, Labour, Liberals and Tories in Portsmouth will absolutely shit a brick. They will absolutely be in panic. And that builds the momentum for other candidates in other areas that might struggle a bit more, because they'll see Reform doing so well and it'll engage other people in other areas across Portsmouth to do really well. So we should never be complacent. Every single vote matters. And as I say, we need to try and win by a landslide. So please go out and vote. Someone just said I'm going to have to address this just quickly because I don't want anybody to jump on my status and say, why didn't you address it? Someone said that all the migrants that come over on the boats are Muslim. That's not true. I'm completely against illegal migration in every capacity. I'm completely against it. I think they should all be detained on the entry. They should be put in a secure facility and they should be deported straight back as quick as possible. That's my belief. But it's not fair to say they're all Muslim. They're not. I think about 60% roughly are Muslim. There's a lot of Christians that come over as well, especially from Africa.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that are neither religion. So I think that's important. It's unfair to just assume that they're all Muslim, because they're not. The majority are, but not all. Sharon's been writing her speech. Sharon Collins is a Havant councillor. Forgive me, Sharon. I can't remember what ward you're in now. Is it Wesley? Emily's making a face at me. I can't remember you're gonna have to tell me what ward you're in now. I think it's Wesley. She's the councillor for, but she's writing a motion about digital ID to put before Havant councils. That's really, really good. Really good. And Tasman just made a really good point about what you said, Joe, about the digital ID, saying that they won't be getting digital ID anyway, so it makes no sense. She's got a good point, right?
It is madness. It's just lies, complete lies, and they take the public for fools, and I think that's what winds everyone up more than anything. And we just won't put up with it anymore. We will not put up with it. And now there is another option, rather than just the two parties that have been around since after World War II. That other option being Reform, and they can see it. And this is why they're trying to stop local elections across the country. Because let's not lie, next May's elections are effectively the equivalent of what they have in America, are Labour's midterms. And it will show how they're getting on a year and a half, nearly 2 years into their 4 or 5 year government period. And they're going to get absolutely battered across the country. And they just don't want to show it. They don't want to show it, because what that will do is it will give Reform and any other, whether your party come through or the Greens have been polling through the roof in recent weeks. So it will give them a mandate to go and turn around and say, we need a general election. The country don't believe in you anymore. The country don't want you.
Right, everybody. We've got about 10 more minutes on this stream because me and Joe are on another Teams meeting at 8:30 tonight. So we must get off and have a quick brew and a fag before we do that. So fags are important for the stress levels. I actually, do you know what? I'm not a smoker that's addicted. And you're not an addicted smoker either, Joe, are you? You don't have to have a fag.
Do you know what?
No.
I've thought recently about should I give it, because I'm not allowed to smoke at work. You see, where I work is a completely no smoking establishment, and so I work on Whale Island, and I'd actually have to walk all the way off the island to the other side of the bridge to have a cigarette. So I don't even bother taking my cigarettes to work with me anymore. And I sometimes sit on my balcony at night thinking, why am I doing this? But I must admit, one of the first things I did when I finished a Great South Run today was have a fag. And it was lovely.
I know.
It was lovely.
I know. And my issue is my partner. I didn't smoke a fag before I met her. She just kicked me. That's abuse. That's domestic abuse. Everybody call the police. She just kicked me again. This is the face of the domestic abuser. Yeah, you know, I didn't smoke before her. She gives me a reason to smoke. So that's the.
She looked almost as embarrassed then as what she did when she was caught out with me the other day.
Funny that, isn't it? She's now been even more. She just walked out. She's gone. She's gone. But what we're going to do, guys, so we've got 5 minutes left. So what people are laughing in the comments as well. We've got 5 minutes left. So what I would like is a quick fire question round. So it can be stupid. Let's have a little bit of fun. Quick fire questions where you ask a simple question, you know, Joe, what's your favorite food? Whatever. It doesn't matter what the question is. It can be bloody ridiculous. And me and Joe will both answer the question with one word. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll try and do. So start getting your questions in and we'll answer quick fire questions. And it's a good way of getting to know more about Joe and me. Someone's put an Emily for Reform. You'll have to. Someone's put, why is Emily not joining Reform?
No, they're not. No, George. I've been working all day. Leave me alone.
You have to ask her why she's not joining Reform. I know.
I'll be at my tea and coffee morning on Friday.
Yeah, she'll be at a tea and coffee morning Friday at St. Francis Church, 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Go ask her yourself.
See, there you go. Don't say that. No one can say that we put down other parties now because we're actually advertising other parties' things here. So there we go.
I know. There you go. I know. So I'm not going to scroll through. I know we've missed a lot of questions because we've had a lot of questions. So I'm not going to scroll through, but let's have some quick fire questions. As they come up on the screen, they'll read them. What size feet do you both have? I'm 11.
I'm a size, well, I'm a, 10. 10 and a half.
Someone's put permit parking for all residents. Personally, I think yes, parking permits should be made blanket across the whole city.
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that. That is contentious, and there's no way we can give a one-word answer. So we'll rule that question out. What's my favourite beer? I'm a lager drinker. Do you know what? I used to be able to drink. This isn't a one-word answer either. But
you're doing bad at one-word answers.
Okay, Cruz Campo. Let's go.
I don't have a favourite beer. I don't drink it. So
Malbec red wine.
So a Malbec red wine, if anyone's buying. Joe, what's your favourite fag? Does she mean homosexual? Ow! Ow! Just P.S. I'm here in my capacity. 1 second, Joe, I've got to do this legally. I'm here in my capacity as George Madgwick and not as the councillor of Paulsgrove. So everything I say is only a personal thing, and it's clearly a joke. Jesus Christ! What's your favourite fag, Joe?
I'm a roll-up guy. Sterling hand rolling tobacco.
I am a signature cigarello guy. There you go. There you go. Signature cigarello. There you go. These questions are coming through really quickly. What's your guilty pleasure, Joe?
Oh, blimey. Rick Astley.
Rick Astley?
Well, and wet. I'm going to see him next Friday.
You are. Do you know what my guilty pleasure is? I'm sorry for everybody that's going to be watching this. Come on, you Spurs. Tottenham Hotspurs is my second team. Oh, no, sorry. That's my guilty pleasure.
Second team.
That's my guilty pleasure. I know, I've just pissed off all the Portsmouth fans. Still vote for Joe. Vote for Joe.
I only have one team, and that's Pompey. Up the Blues.
Someone's put, we need a caution candidate. We've got one. Don't panic. Someone said I must wear boots. I wear trainers. What food do you hate the most and would never eat even if you were starving? Go on, Joe.
I'm not a massive fan of fruit. I don't like fruit in any way. It just don't feel very nice in my mouth. I like fruit flavoured sweets, but fruit, no.
Not a fan of the banana in your mouth, no?
I think you better do your disclaimer again, mate.
What food do you hate the most? I can't stand shellfish. Hate it. Crab, lobster, can't stand it. Irrelevant questions, irrelevant answers. Thanks, both of you. I don't know what that question means. Good luck on Thursday. Who's your favourite politician, Joe?
Oh, wow. There we go. My favourite.
One of them might be watching. You never know.
Well, who knows? One of them might be on screen with me now. No.
Hey.
I would say my favourite politician of all time, without question, is Winston Churchill. My favourite politician at the moment, and without question, the most influential politician of my lifetime is Nigel Farage.
Yeah, I think Nigel Farage is definitely the safe option because he is the most influential politician of our lifetime. I think Boris got almost close to him, don't get me wrong. But I think there's nobody that's changed politics in this country in recent modern history as much as he has. So I completely agree. And who's your least favourite politician? You can be past or present. Your least favourite?
Tony Blair.
Mine's Liz Truss. Can't stand the woman. I think she's the worst prime minister this country's ever had. Full stop.
No, that's Keir Starmer, mate.
And she was a liberal, first ever liberal prime minister. And look, she fluffed it. So yeah, best pub in Paulsgrove. Well, there's only one, Lucy.
Two. Well, in the ward. There's two in the ward.
There's two in the ward. Okay, in the ward.
And they're both as good as each other.
Would you rather have a head twice as big or half as small?
Half as small, I think.
Half as well. You've kind of got a head half as small. I guess twice as big. I think. Although it'd be quite heavy, wouldn't it?
It would. It'd be like that. I wouldn't have been able to do the Great South Run. I'd have been like that all the way around.
You'd be bullied regardless.
Yeah.
No, I think twice as big because if you have half as big, your mouth's going to be half, and you couldn't eat properly, right? I don't know. I think twice as big would probably be better.
Half as big, because when I used to be in the Marines, my face was probably half as big. I just got like.
What's your favourite song to dance for? Yeah. What's your favourite song to dance to, Joe?
Oh, blimey.
Mine's YMCA. I nail the YMCA.
I do like a bit of Village People. I do like a bit of YMCA. My favourite karaoke song, or my favourite karaoke, is Elvis, hands down. Hands down. If I Could Dream by Elvis.
What's your favourite takeaway? We've got 2 more minutes, guys. So get those questions in minutes. Be quick.
Favourite takeaway? I do like a kebab. Shirin's kebab. Spot on.
Still haven't had one.
Oh, mate, unbelievable. But I do like a Chinese.
Yeah, I'm a Chinese. Yeah. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Actually, if you said to me, I can only have one takeaway food for the rest of my life, it'd actually be a kebab. But I do enjoy a Chinese. I really, really do. But if they're on about favourite takeaway location, do you know what? On a Sunday night tonight, you can get a takeaway box from it's not called Kung Fu, it's called Jin Sung now. Jin Sung Chinese takeaway in Fareham. Bloody delicious. £7. You fill it up with everything you want. Best one. Joe, this is a question for you. Favourite pub in Portsmouth? 1.
Favourite pub in Portsmouth? Ship Anson's a banger. Phoenix in Torrington Road. There's just so many to choose from, isn't there? We've got more pubs per square mile than any other city in the country. It's wonderful.
So Kev Rollins has said Corruption, George, was the one passed by you. But Kev, I don't know whether maybe we missed it. Have you seen one from Kev about corruption? So I want to answer it if he's asked it. But
I don't know. I can never. I'm not getting the questions from Twitter. I'm only getting the questions from.
I don't know.
So I can't. Oh, George has gone to pot again by the looks of it. Oh dear. Well, I suppose that
I haven't seen it. Sorry, Kev, if we missed it. If you've got another minute, mate, please. He's backhanded deals on my question. As far as I'm aware, Kev, there is no backhanded deals in Portsmouth City Council. I'm not going to lie to you. It'd be easy for me to say yes, the opposition are taking backhanders. There's no proof of it. I've never seen it. I do think some of the contracts are suspect, and you do sometimes wonder why they've been gifted or given. But you're asking me my opinion on whether I think there's corruption or backhanders, and I genuinely don't. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm saying from my experience, I've never seen it, I've never heard it, I've never known of it. So that's all I can comment on. Jim Fleming, good to have you on the show, on the chat, Jim. And Jim Fleming was a Conservative councillor in Cosham, I believe. And actually, Jim, you might not know this, but you standing down in Cosham actually was my first election, because I stood in the by-election that was triggered in Jim's seats. And he's now a member of Reform Party, so it's really, really good to have you part of the party, Jim. And please do come to a meeting. So your opinions on parking permits are certainly valid, because I know you had a cabinet position for many years. Literally 2 more minutes. Would you rather replace speed bumps with average speed cameras and actually fine speeders, not break the suspension and fine? Yes, Tim, I think that is a sensible policy. Absolutely, I think that's a sensible policy. What do you think of Rupert Lowe? It's difficult. I personally don't necessarily think that I would like to see in a way where he could have stayed in Reform, because I don't think that anybody should be divided. I think that people in life have different opinions, but the fact of the matter is we don't know what happened behind the scenes. It was way before my time in Reform as well. Me and Joe are not privy to any information that happened behind the scenes, so it's very difficult for me to give an opinion. I'm sure you agree, Joe.
Yeah, I think Rupert's heart is in the right place. He's obviously very morally driven, but I suppose he is. He's one of those sorts of characters. He's a bit like Marmite, isn't he? And
Yeah.
he used to be chairman of Southampton, so.
And that's true. Yeah, down with Rupert Lowe. Who is in charge when you walk the dog? You or the dog? My dogs are in charge when I walk the dog. Absolutely. And I think we'll leave it on this one. Someone says, will you scrap the City or Council of Sanctuary for Portsmouth? I mean, they've said City of Sanctuary, but you mean Council of Sanctuary, because we have no control over the City of Sanctuary. And I've said very clearly, and I'll stick to this, that if we win all the seats in next May's election and we become the administration, when full council happens, which is the middle of May, if I become the leader and Joe and everybody else in cabinet and Reform run this council, the first thing I will do, and I mean the first thing I will do, is I will walk into that council offices, I'll walk straight up to the room where that Council of Sanctuary agreement is, and I'll rip it up there and then. That is the very first thing I will do as leader of this council, is rip up that Council of Sanctuary agreement, completely withdraw from it, remove all funding from any sanctuary things. That's Library of Sanctuary, it's the City of Sanctuary. I'll remove all funding, because I don't believe that taxpayers at all should fund for illegal migrants to be in our city. And that's not to say that I won't help genuine people that have come here from, say, Ukraine, or if they've come across on the relocation scheme or whatever it is on Afghanistan. I think the people that helped us in the battles, like, you'll probably know more of this than me, Joe, but there was a lot of Afghanis that actually helped Britain in the war zone. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'll know this because they were probably helping you.
Yeah.
Those people, I think if they're fleeing that because they helped the British, I think we should support those people because they've helped us essentially, so we should help them. But people that arrive here on illegal boats will get no support in any capacity from any council or anything I ever run. Full stop. Joe, I think on that note.
Yeah. Well, I would say the best way to leave it is Thursday, go out and vote for Joe Standen and Reform. You could be part of history here, Paulsgrove. You could elect the first ever member of Portsmouth City Council that is a Reform candidate, which would be fantastic. And it would be wonderful if you can lend me your vote on Thursday. And like George said earlier, let's not just win by 1 or 2 votes. Let's send an absolute shockwave through Portsmouth City Council and show and prove to everyone that we really want change in Portsmouth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, people got to remember, we've got 6 Reform councillors now, but they're all defection councillors, including me. This is the first election where we can elect a Reform councillor. And we need Joe to be that first person. So please do go out and vote. Please do go out and get involved. And yeah, thank you very much for joining. And Joe, we're on a Teams call in 4 minutes. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you
guys.
And Joe, will you come on next Sunday to reveal the result if we win?
Absolutely. I will. I will be recovered from wet by then. So yeah, I'm all over it.
And next Saturday, which I hope you'll be recovered from, is our big action day for Reform, where we need to sign up as many new members on Saturday as possible. If you're not yet a Reform member, please don't sign up now, which is a weird thing to say, because we need you to sign up next Saturday, because every single person that signs up to Reform next Saturday will count towards us trying to take over as Reform's #1 branch, and we'll get a big donation from Reform HQ for our campaign. Okay, so thanks very much for tuning in, everybody. It's been a great show, and we will see you next Sunday.